What a time to be a Sixers fan. A big what's up to everybody. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we will be taking a look at the remaining games left on the Philadelphia 76ers schedule this season. In addition, I will be reflecting on the team going in and out of the All-Star break, where I believe they will end up at the end of the season, as well as giving my overall thoughts on the James Harden acquisition and its potential consequences. Sub a brother up for more unique Sixers content because you know what we do here. Without further ado, let's get to the video. So heading into the All-Star break, your Philadelphia 76ers are 35-23, giving them the third best record overall in the East and seventh best overall in the league. It is important to note that they had the third best overall road record in the league, which we know for a fact hasn't always been the case in many seasons prior. I wonder what is the difference. Looking at the stats this season, the Sixers are top 10 in free throws attempted, top 10 in blocks as well, but they're also top 3 in free throws made and free throw percentage. Right now at this point, they're 14th overall in offensive rating, 11th overall in defensive rating, and 12th overall in net rating when looking at both of those joints in tandem. All in all, the Sixers are a statistical average team who are being carried by an all-world behemoth front-running MVP candidate, which we already knew. Speaking of Joel Embiid, he earned his 5th All-Star appearance in 6 years of eligibility. Honestly, we're so lucky to have this. The boy only started playing basketball, 10 years ago, and is already beginning his Hall of Fame arc, his Hall of Fame career arc, excuse me. And speaking of the All-Star game, that joint is in Cleveland this year. I don't understand why Philly has yet to have an All-Star weekend held here in the last 25 years. The last time Bulls came here, I believe it was 2002. Other Philadelphia 76ers who made All-Star weekend selections would be one Tyrese Maxey, who appeared in the Rising Star Challenge, good-ish to the young boy, as well as James Harden, who was selected to his 8th All-Star team. I know y'all peeped how I just slid in that info about James Harden being a 76er so casually, right? Yes, that is right. James the Beard Harden is a freaking 76er. And honestly, I just want to bask in the glory real quick because I have been on record many times over the last 8 months saying that the Sixers would wait to trade you-know-who for a major offensive impact player whose production exceeded number 25's overall impact. And all I was hit with was, Ben has no value. You're never going to get a superstar back. The best you're going to get is CJ McCollum. A moment of silence for the doubters and the haters. Yes, the departures of Seth Curry and Andre Drummond will definitely hurt, especially Seth, because he is a playoff monster. If you do not believe me, see last year's playoff performance. But anyway, you essentially got a top 10 offensive player of all time for a boy who was never going to play for the team again, an above average role player, and another role player on an expiring contract. I repeat, you have a top 10 offensive player of all time who still has more than enough left in the tank, in my opinion, and more importantly, is motivated to win a championship. The 76ers definitely took a hit depth-wise, as I just said, that is obvious. So James will be looked to be a major part of the offense, a fulcrum, if you will, as he damn well should be, essentially being what the Australian gave you, facilitation and pace dictation-wise, with less extreme defensive impact, but way more potent offensive scoring impact. I honestly see him playing a hybrid Houston-Brooklyn version of his game within the Philadelphia offensive scheme, a scoring first point, but truly emphasizing getting his teammates involved, because that is honestly the only way this offense is going to work around two Bulls, Joel Embiid and James Harden, who demand the ball in ISO situations. Yo, don't be shocked if Harden brings back his mid-range game to his offensive repertoire. Shout out to my boy Quadrique for giving me that info. So beyond Joel Embiid and Tobias Harris getting their games up, I think Maxey and Niang are going to eat the most with the acquisition of the Beard. Niang mainly for wide open threes, Tyrese Maxey, who no doubt will get one-on-one matchups where he will be able to go straight to the rim, bruh, as well as catch and shoot threes. I think both of them should start, mainly Maxey and Niang. I feel like there should be a selection by committee for the starting three, depending on you know, the opponent, between Niang, Matisse, and Danny Green. So what will the offense look like itself? A pick your poison type John, if you will. Who are you going to double, triple? Embiid, or Harden, and the gravity that those two require will open up the spacing for others to operate one-on-one and play their own individual game. They will have the ability, the Sixers themselves, the team, will have the ability to dictate the pace any which way they want with the Beard and Joe duo. And dog, imagine the amount of free throw attempts. We are going to have some very long games at the end because we already know Embiid and Harden are top 5 in the league at drawing fouls, 2nd and 5th overall respectively. And that can be the difference at the end of the game, Joe. Having the Sixers in the bonus, grinding it out. I don't know about you, but I am extremely excited, yo. Obtaining Harden does not guarantee a chip, obviously, but it does place us firmly as a championship contender and gives us a legit championship window, which is something ownership owes us for putting us through BS the last 8 years.
When you bought the team 11, 12 years ago, the big first move was Andrew Bynum, and that didn't work. Then you had Sam come in and deconstruct and reconstruct with a bunch of draft picks. That kind of didn't work. Then you had Jimmy and Tobias. That hadn't worked, and then you had Philly Boul with Al Horford. What makes this different?
We had 2 great players.
As a fan who has been here from the process beginning during the later years of the Iverson era, more so into the Andre Miller joint, like this is a good joint. Like we actually we are firmly in the championship conversation, and though we can argue that we were always there with the old regime, it has been finalized, signed, sealed, and delivered with 2 of the top 10 best players in the league right now. Shout out to the boy Elson Brand. Shout out to the boy Daryl Morey because he got his bull. Once again, Bulls are saying, "Oh, you're not going to get a superstar for Ben Simmons." Patience is a virtue, young Padawans. The Sixers have 24 games to implement Harden into the team's offensive scheme before the playoffs. And I'm looking at you, Glenn. Coach Glenn, your job is honestly on the clock. I think he's coaching for his job. I believe if he doesn't hit the finals, maybe the Eastern Conference finals, but definitely he might get fired, bro. And I'm low-key scared because I do not want D'Antoni nowhere near this team. Maybe it is my bias. I don't want another Bull who is linked to Harden to come here and potentially cause some strife between Joel and Harden, as it will officially be Harden's team if he has his old GM and coach. Maybe I'm thinking a little too deeply into that, John, but I definitely need Glenn to succeed here. Like, there's no excuse, bro. Once again, Glenn Rivers is given a good NBA roster. You already know how he does in the playoffs, but dog, it is time. Looking at the schedule itself, the team starts off pretty lightly after the All-Star break, facing the Wolves, who we owe a W since we lost to them last time. And then next, we will be playing the Crumb Bum Julius Catfish Randle-led Knicks. And after that, that is when the actual fun begins. There are 2 stretches that will test the 76ers' mettle, in my opinion. That is between March 4th and 14th, where they will be playing the top Eastern Conference opponents, as well as the stretch between March 20th and 29th, where they play many of the top Eastern Conference opponents again, but they also have a West Coast trip. The schedule overall has 12 home games and 12 away joins. There are 4 sets of back-to-back games. Overall, we will know who the Sixers are at the end of the month of March. March will be their gauntlet schedule. The games I am interested in seeing is Brooklyn on the 10th of March for obvious reasons. The Nuggets on the 14th of March. We'll finally get to see the big man battle that we have not seen in the last, 2-3 years. And then Phoenix on the 27th of March. And you might as well just throw in the Heat matchups and the Raptors joints as well. So really looking at it, I feel like a 50-win season is the actual standard. So at 35 wins already, that would mean that the Sixers need 15 more wins for me to feel confident going into the playoffs. They will basically have to win 63% of the rest of their games, and this is all with a new offensive identity. Will that be difficult to do? Sure. But can it be accomplished? Absolutely. No more scary shit, yo. Win these games and build chemistry for the playoffs. So just to recap, the Sixers are in a very decent position right now. I honestly like the Harden trade and think it will open up the offense itself. The chip window is now, and we will know by the end of the month what is up with the team. I want to thank everybody for pulling up and listening to a brother think. Like, comment, share, subscribe with a Sixers fiend if you feel so inclined. Do you think we gave up too much for the Harden trade? As always, them Bulls are mad because the process worked. Scary minutes are coming, y'all. My name is Cain, and I will see you next time. Peace.